This is the drive home with TT for the Millwall drive home, driving home from Kenilworth Road, where it finished. Luton Town 1, Millwall 1. Very much a game of two halves. The first half I don't really want to even talk about, because it doesn't matter where you go, it doesn't matter how much you travel, it doesn't matter what football team you put out. If you play to nullify and you give teams respect and sit back, you're only going to invite pressure on you, and you're never going to win a game. And that first half, you know, it's really, really frustrating. I understand we go to good teams in the division, the Leeds of the world, the West Broms, and you try and stay in the game and potentially try and win it late doors. But we just played Luton Town, and we gave them so much time and so much respect in that first half that can't continue, and I don't care what excuses are given for that. We need to go to places like that and set our stall out like we did in the second half. We started with 4-4-2, and to be honest, I was really happy with the formation. I was really happy with the lineup. We started with Bart in goal, Romeo right back, Murray Wallace left back, a centre back pairing, and the return of the captain that's really got us into the Championship and led from the front. And that's no criticism of Pearce, but Sean Hutchinson partnering Jake Cooper. We had right midfield of Connor Mahoney, left midfield of Jed Wallace, although again they swap wings. Centre midfield pairing of Ryan Leonard and Jason Malumbe, and then up front we had Matt Smith and Tom Bradshaw. That, near enough to me, is our strongest lineup. You could potentially change Malumbe for Thompson, but I really like the lineup, and I just thought that it's an attacking intent that we've got. There's an attacking formation. We're going to Luton to try and win the game, and it just didn't pan out that way. You know, many of you would have watched it on TV and would have been very disappointed. But you know, it's the first time that I've been in a Millwall crowd that the crowd has really, really turned on Harris. Now, I don't agree with saying we're really crap. I don't agree with booing either, because I understand it, because I'm equally frustrated. But I just think that the players on the pitch then don't play for us; they're playing against us, and that's no way to be together. The one thing I would say is that as soon as they come out in the second half, they really did give the fans something to cheer about, because they took the game to Luton, and it was completely different. We were all on the same hymn sheet in that second half, and I felt there's no getting away from it. We were a little bit, you know, Luton's created more chances. Bartos has made a couple of decent saves, but overall, second half we looked far better. I'll go through each individual player. Like I said just now, Bartos played well in goal. I think he done, other than punching the ball once where I thought he should have catched it, he put us in trouble with that. But he made a couple of really good stops. He held his near post really well, and there was nothing he could do for the goal whatsoever. You know, he's not at fault for that. So I'll give Bartos a comfortable, 7.5, I think. Marlon Romeo played right back, and I think he struggled, to be honest, defensively in that first half, but that's because we're inviting pressure on us. If you invite pressure onto a defender and they've got a quick winger, he's gonna keep running at him. And Marlon got beat once where he's brought the player down, and looked at trouble. I thought that he was far better second half. Once he seemed to be unleashed a little bit and told you can go and attack, and that fits right into what he wanted to do. He's nutmegged a couple of players. His intent was good, so for that reason I'll give him a 7. I thought Murray Wallace had a reasonably good game, to be honest, but he is at fault for the goal. The only thing I'd say is he has shown him down the outside, which as a defender technically that's what you want him to do, but he's allowed him to run too far without checking him, without putting some pressure on him. I know he's probably afraid of getting beat, but he normally is able to use his strength to muscle them off, but he couldn't do that in that situation. He's allowed him to get to the byline and cut it back for them to equalise, and ultimately that is his fault, allowing him to get that far and then getting the ball back into the box, which is where we're weak. other than that, I felt like he had a pretty decent game. So I'll give him 6 for making the mistake for the goal, but it is pretty harsh, I've got to be honest. The 2 centre-backs in Cooper and Hutchinson. Now the problem is, none of our back 2 look comfortable on the ball. And that means that as soon as it's hard for them, don't get me wrong, because there's no one also in midfield seems to be showing for the ball. So when they get the ball, they're just encouraged to get rid of it, and then the pressure's straight back on us again. They dealt with Luton, I felt, in and around the box really well. Any balls into the box, they seem to clear. You know, they were at the front post or the near post. They, attacking wise, they attacked the ball when it got close to us, and not enough that happened in the first half. It's so difficult to comment on a game where we were so different from half to half. But I felt that they both done well without being in possession of the football, and I'll give them both a 7 for that reason. We'll move on to our midfield, and obviously we played a midfield 4 in the first half and a midfield 3 in the second half, and Thompson's come on and helped change the game and change the momentum into our area. And I think, Harris has got a lot of stick, quite rightly, but that formation change worked really, really well. But it's not just, like I said, it doesn't matter how you set your team out. They've got to, the attacking press that we had in that second half, to really get it at them. Led by players like Jed Wallace. He was playing, I think we played 4-3-1-2 in that second half, with Jed Wallace just behind. He started as a left midfielder, and I felt that, again, as soon as he gets the ball, he's going at them, he's running at them, and he's trying to put them under pressure. And it's very close for me. I've got two players that particularly stood out, and I thought Jed Wallace was certainly one of them. The other one's Tom Bradshaw, and I thought, and I'll move on to him in a minute. But Jed Wallace today, just, both of them got the crowd back on the players' side. Geeing them up straight away as they come out. It's not a question. Again, I'm not saying that the players don't want it, because they do want it. They're being hamstrung a little bit by playing such a negative style of football, and they're not being allowed to show what they've got. And although that they are attacking the ball, they're not allowed to, it just seems pump the ball long, get rid of it, and inevitably the pressure's going to come straight back on us, which did happen time and time again. But Jed ran on the ball, wanted to go at them, and second half was really good. And I thought he was our shining light in the first half, if I'm being honest. So I'll give Jed an 8. I think it was Mahoney that played left midfield in the first half. And I was really disappointed with him, I've got to be honest. I didn't think it was his best game. I didn't think he got into the game at all. The game passed him by. So for that reason, I'll give him a 5, and it was right to take him off at half time. I sent a midfield of Malumbe and Leonard. I thought Malumbe was pretty quiet in the first half. He didn't do what he normally does, and he didn't get on the ball and try and dictate play. Done that far more in the second half, and he become a little bit more of a factor as the game went on, when we had more possession, when we were trying to hold on to the ball rather than just give it back to them. And the more that we held the ball, the more he came into it, and the better he looks as a player. Switching the play really well at times, again running at players, and the difference that makes. So I felt that his first half performance is going to knock him a little bit, so for that reason I'll give him a 6. Again, I'm going to move on to Ryan Leonard. This is the second game in a row where Ryan Leonard, I felt, has worked his socks off. I felt that he tried to, too often he passes the ball back, but he's trying to keep possession. And if he then shows again for the midfield and they get rid of it, then they get rid of it. But I thought he done well today. I thought what Ryan Leonard, the impact of the game that he had, I couldn't see anything wrong with it. So for that reason, I'm going to give him a 7. I'll go on to the other midfielder that came on in the second half, and Ben Thompson. And not only does he get the crowd up because it's Ben, but he's all action, Ben, and he's someone that you just feel like we really need him on the pitch. We really need his energy, his combativeness, and like I said, he works with the crowds. Not many players in his current Millwall team get sung songs, but he certainly does, and I love him wearing the shirt. he was back to his old self. We had a really great shot in the second half on the edge of the box where he's turned and curled it. A great save from the corner. It looked like it was going in the top corner. And he's changed it. He's helped change the game. And for that reason, I'll give him an 8. And he's one of my man of the matches. We'll move on to the front two of Matt Smith and Tom Bradshaw. Again, I thought Matt Smith didn't really get into it. A little bit like Huddersfield. He was a bit on the periphery of the game. Won a few headers. Had a chance to make it 2-0, and you think if we take that, if we scored the second goal there, we win the game. He doesn't. He puts it just wide. He was stretching at the far post, but he flitted in and out of the game. He didn't do enough for me, but he didn't do badly, in my opinion. For that reason, I'll give him a 6. And then we'll move on to my man of the match, Tom Bradshaw, who showed so much desire, passion, skill, ability on the ball. He tried it in the first half, although he didn't get enough of the ball. But second half, I felt he took over and really wanted it and really wanted to attack. And you can ask no more from any player than that to just go out and see what you can give and see what you can. Obviously, he's got the goal. It makes a good run and gets it in at the near post, I think it was, and from then on, once we took the lead, what I really liked after us taking the lead, and it happens so often, is that we sit back. Well, we didn't sit back today, and that's partly down to the fact that Tom Bradshaw led from the front and kept putting pressure on him, kept trying to chase down the ball. And I heard people criticising Harris for taking Matt Smith off and bringing Aidan on, but ultimately Matt Smith's not able to chase down the ball, and if you want to continue that high press, then you need to take Matt off and you need to bring Aidan on to try and chase the ball down. It didn't work because we did drop back a little bit too much, and obviously we conceded that goal. But overall, things have to be far more, for going forward, things have to be far more like they were in the second half to what that we did in the first half, because there's no getting away from it. We can't stand the division if we're not winning games away from home. And we've had 2 great opportunities in Huddersfield and Luton, who are not particularly in any great run of form. Well, certainly not Huddersfield, although they got their first win yesterday. And Luton were there for the taking. We gave them so much time on the ball. I've never seen, Ryan Tunnicliffe, who, I rated quite highly at the Den, but he absolutely run the first half, and he didn't do that in any time that he played for us in any game. And we allowed him to completely dictate and pass the ball around, and we gave them so much time. They were allowed to run at us. The amount of times in that first half they ran down the channels, through the middle, and got right into our box before they were even touched. That just can't be allowed to happen. That's just nonsensical football, because eventually teams are going to make chances and score goals. And Luton didn't do that, because Luton aren't a very good football team. They did it once in the second half. They should had a number of chances in opportunities to do it in the first half and just didn't take it. And we rode our luck. We can't do that. And the thing that's frustrating is that in the second half, we just showed what we've got. What those players can do, and how much the energy and how much the time that if they want it. And, Hutchinson's going off at half-time and he's arguing with the fans. Good. I want to see him arguing with the fans. I want to see him showing some fight, showing some passion, and showing that we're not going to lie down. We're going to go to grounds, it doesn't matter where, but we're going to go to other grounds and we're going to try and take the game to them, because I don't care who they are. We are Millwall, and we mean business when we play that way. We showed Luton Town far too much respect, and it's so frustrating, and I know Neil's going to be frustrated that he's getting criticism from the fans, and I know that the players are not going to like hearing booing, and I don't agree with it. I don't agree with our fans booing players. But when you see what we've got and what we're being given, that's what's so frustrating, and it's the passion of our fans. Yeah, it sometimes spills over in the wrong ways, but that's who we are. And if you don't like it, then you ain't Millwall, because that's what we're going to give you. We've got an absolutely massive game against Leeds on Saturday, and I don't mean it in terms of Leeds are a better side than us. Leeds have got better individual players than us. We've got players like Pablo Hernandez, who's probably the best player in the Championship. But if we take the game to them, let me just tell you now, if we show Leeds the respect we showed Luton, we are going to get flipping annihilated. And I know it's different at home, but we can't afford to give them 75-80% possession because they will ruin us. We need to go and take it to them, get up on them, and give them like you say Millwall performance, but you need to just get after them, show them who we are. I'll move on to ref watch just quickly because I can't remember his name. Was it Bond? Darren Bond. Thanks, Leonard. Didn't help us at all. Luton players must have been wearing skates the amount of times they fell over. It was just ridiculous. But you could tell that he was giving them absolutely everything. Give us nothing. And I know I complain about the refs. Is it the reason we didn't do anything in the first half? Of course it isn't. Is it the reason we didn't win the game? Of course it isn't. But it doesn't bloody help when you've got a referee giving you absolutely nothing after they keep falling over every 10 seconds. I've got to say, and I'll do TT rates in a minute about Luton, but that is by far the quietest ground I've been to all season. And it will probably be the quietest ground I've been to all season, because I'll go to all season, because it was horrendous. The atmosphere was horrendous. The only time they sang is when we were getting on the back of our own players. Now, I felt that we sung well today, and I felt that our fans got behind the boys. Certainly, we started the game well and got frustrated during the game. But in the second half, after they showed us what they want to do, and after they showed us they're going to get at it, they got it back from us. They got the support back from us, and they can ask for no more than that. As far as I'm concerned, if you get the backing of Millwall fans after what you just showed in the first half, you know that you're going to get it from us, and you're going to get support, and you're going to get the backing that you got. And it's hard to not be frustrated that we didn't go there and win the game, because we showed in the second half that we more than capably could have. But again, we didn't lose. I don't want to take positives away from games like that. I want to take all 3 points, and that is what we're going to have to do if we want to stay in this division, and we're good enough to do it. We've got the players to do it. God. It's difficult. I know it's difficult, but thank you for watching. Please like the video if you don't mind. Put them in your comments. At least we haven't got too long to go. Zach's at home. He's probably just gone to bed, and I miss the fact that he's not at the game with us, but he'll be back on Saturday. Thanks for watching. Sorry I was a bit emotional. Come on, you Lions.